Excellency, and Premier, ladies and gentlemen, I was very kindly given a Nakubra Banjo Patterson hat, so I was very touched by that and very privileged, so I'm equally proud to put it on. Otherwise I can't speak without putting my hat on. But ladies and gentlemen, the other thing I worry about this evening is that we've taken so long to get here that we've kept you all waiting for hours, and you'll never get to eat your, what I'm reliably informed is chemically free beef, your barbie. But I am enormously grateful to the Premier and the Governor for their extremely kind words on this very special occasion where we're able to join you all. And although it is more than 15,500 kilometres from London to the Stockman's Hall of Fame, and I'm so jet-lagged that I feel a few sausages short of a barbie. It is a great joy to be back here in Australia again and to join you all in the celebrations for the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. For my wife, this is her very first visit, and we are incredibly touched by the warm welcome you've given us both. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm rather hoping that some of you might have been able to initiate her into the special pleasure of Tim Tams, not to mention the unique experience of Vegemite, as our one and only jar of Jubilee Marmite was confiscated on arrival here in Australia. Now, believe it or not, I first came here to Australia 46 years ago, which is slightly frightening because it's very nearly 50 years ago, which makes it sound even more ancient as far as I'm concerned. And most of you probably didn't even realize that. And of course a lot has changed in that time. For instance, in those days, when I first arrived in 1966, the place seemed to be full of people rushing headlong into bars to down whole lines of schooners before early closing. And you have to be of an age to remember that. Now the latest figures reveal that Aussies attend more cultural events per head of population than any nation on earth, and that they also read more books. Beer consumption is apparently down and wine consumption up. But I dare say that that's something to do with the sheer quality of the Australian wine industry, which we ought to celebrate because it is a remarkable achievement in those last 50 years. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if I may say so, I'm so pleased our visit could begin here in rural Queensland. After all, the outback is a large part of the Australian experience, its history and its sense of identity. For the more than 1 million people who have passed through this centre in the quarter of a century since the Queen opened it, the outback remains a source of fascination and respect. Fascination at the sheer scale, beauty and rugged nature of the environment, and respect for those Australians who throughout recorded history and before have made their lives here. Now, I was fortunate enough to experience just a little of outback life when I was a schoolboy in Victoria, as I say, nearly 50 years ago. And I cannot pretend to remember a great deal about my school curriculum, but I can recall in every detail the long treks through the bush in searing heat. And for company, I remember funnel web spiders, bull ants, leeches that could only be removed with a cigarette end, snakes of every description, and kangaroos that overtook us on cross-country runs through the bush at timber top. If, as they say, those are your formative years, then they certainly form me. And ladies and gentlemen, look at the result. Now, the main reason for this Bonza Barbie here is to celebrate the Diamond Jubilee with its theme of service to others, as the Governor has mentioned. At the height of the British so-called summer, in June, and as the rain lashed down, 9 Australian surf boats fought their way down the River Thames as part of the Diamond Jubilee pageant. Although the skills of those lifesavers were not required that day, the sight of those yellow shirts reminded us of all those Australians who do their bit for their communities and the wider good. The team that day included 4 Queensland state rowing champions from the Currumbin Surf Lifesaving Club. And in recent times, no state more than Queensland has shown what excellent service to the community in the face of disaster is really all about. It has been said many times that the wider world watched in awe as nature's tendency for destruction wreaked death and havoc in this nation these past years. But, if anything, that was exceeded by the universal admiration at how Australians have pulled together. That attribute is what you might call mateship. And I look forward to introducing to my wife the many people from all walks of life, such as those we have met today, who are giving up time, energy, and enthusiasm for their neighbours, their communities, and the wider good. We shall be travelling to 5 states and 1 territory in the next 6 days to see them. Viewed from London at the start of a pommy winter, that might have seemed like some undertaking. But, ladies and gentlemen, standing here in the Sunshine State puts a different gloss on it, even if it's one hell of a long way to drive for a surf. So thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for this fantastic start to our visit, and indeed for the terrific welcome you have given us on such a special occasion. I wish we could stay longer. Thank you.